Hi Aries, welcome to your read. So this is going to be just key messages that you need at this time. And I was doing the other signs and I was like, Aries definitely needs a message. So let's go. If you want the 6 month read, it is on a killer deal right now. So it's half price and it'll do predictions for your next 6 months. Check it out below. If you want any other kinds of reads, I'm messing with the website. So just comment, say, Lisa, I need a read or coaching or whatever, and I'll check it out. I'll get in touch. Okay, so let's look at key messages. So this is kind of timeless. It will be when you see it, is when you need this key message, okay? So we do have the tower. So the tower represents Mars. Mars represents Aries. So I do think there is the need for some of yous to, you've got the Six of Pentacles. So some of yous are feeling like a beggar. The Six of Pentacles person can also be a person who's on handouts. And so a lot of people see the tower and they panic, but the tower can be good. The tower can be, sometimes a life does need to come down because there's a better one in the future. Okay, so when people see the death card or the tower, they panic. But this deconstruction, this is also, some of you need to work on something in you, because the tower represents Mars, Mars represents Aries, right? So I feel like there is basically, some of you could be feeling triggered, you might have anger issues, you might have, the tower can be the subconscious, something that needs healing, something needs to be confronted. For me, this is a person, now I love this because see the way the man is turning his back on the tower. And I feel like a lot of people are in this place. They're done with all the instability, they're done with all the chaos, they're just done in themselves. When you live in a constant state of chaos, when you are around people who are chaos, it is exhausting. It's also boring. I think people, and we've all done it, I'm not judging people, I've done it. We need drama to stimulate, we need triggers, we need to be anxious, we need to be angry about something. I've done it, I still do it. But I'm saying I've been working a lot on this, and I think a lot of it is because life is full of magic. There is so much to do. So much to do. And I think when you start to realize actually my life is not forever and there is so much to do, you stimulate yourself in the right things, right? You're not stimulating yourself in dumb stuff. So the tower is, the tower can also be like self-destruction, right? The tower is like people who are committed to self-destruction, but it can often come from a trauma-based place. So I feel like there's something with Aries, this is a deep message, it's not a generic message. There's something with Aries where some of yous, maybe you've been sabotaging, maybe maybe it's coming from a place of trauma, maybe it's anger, maybe people did it to you, but you're turning your back on this. Or there is the option to turn your back on this. Like, there's no rule in the universe that says you can't get up one morning and completely change your life. No rule. There is no rule that says you can't get up from being angry, self-destructive and change. Right? So there's something here where I feel like this is the Aries who want to move into enlightenment. Now, if we just go to basic 3D, like I said, a lot of people have not done the work, just being honest. They're coming from a very chaotic place, they're coming from a very traumatized place. And so the message here with this Two of Wands is you want away from these people. Because I'm actually getting that some of you have been doing the work, right? You've been the hangman is enlightenment, it's reaching those higher levels. You can't attain this and be around this, right? But sometimes, coming back to what I said, we are the people who've got the unhealed trauma, or we've got our unconscious is out of alignment with our conscious, right? I love this for the Aries men, and I do think that this is a reading for people who they want to get out of the tower. Some of you, and a lot of signs have got this with this Two of Wands, you want to build a new life, but it's going to mean you're going to have to turn your back on a lot of old programming, because the tower is the subconscious mind, and it's often programmed through our childhood, or it's programmed through our experiences. And so we have to turn our back, because if we're going to create this new reality, see the halo, this new connection, this higher self, we can't keep reacting the way we would in the past. And then you've also got the Knight of Swords reversed. But I love this key message, the key message. The other side of the coin is the Tower, is the things that trigger us. The Tower is the things that make us angry. There's nothing wrong with anger, and there's nothing wrong with being triggered. But if we live too much in a perpetual state of anger, and we're triggered all the time, there's a problem, okay? Being angered or being angry or triggered is a signal. It's just data. It's a signal that something needs to change, or maybe we need to change something ourselves, or maybe we need to get rid of someone who pushes those buttons. But for me, the Tower can also be for Aries. I think this is past shit, basically. And this is stuff that is coming up for healing, so that you can move into your next stage, right? And your next stage is peace, right? Your next stage is, for me, the Hangman is just someone who just wants peace. They want to be rooted, because the Hangman is hanging from a tree, so he wants to be rooted. The halo represents rooted in divine connection, rooted in a higher self, right? They don't want to be self-destructing. They don't want to be around people who are, you know, because what a lot of people do this, right? If you're in an unhealed place, you connect to unhealed people. It's the fucking rule. It's the rule. Or you might be the opposite. You might be a high alignment person, but you're constantly bringing in trauma-based people because they need your light, right? It's exhausting. So, but in general, I think that there's a key message with Aries to deal with the trauma in you, to deal with the pain in you. We live in a time where basically people penalise anger or reaction. Now, I'm all about, again, that's part of the experience. For me, it's unjustified anger or exaggerated anger. Drama's fine too. Too much of it, turn it in. Okay? So that's a message here for you at this time. There's something to do with studying yourself, looking at your triggers, looking at your anger. And it's also about acknowledging that it's valid. It's valid. If anger is there or a trigger is there, again, it's because we come from a toxic culture that says this is bad, this is good, don't do this, don't do that. And so people are constantly second guessing themselves. But too much of anything is bad for us, right? Right, too much anger, not good. Being triggered all the time, not the most pleasant thing, right? So there's something for, I think this is mostly probably the Aries man, where you're transmuting and you're no longer putting things into categories, and you're no longer saying this is good, this is bad. It's like, it's just data. Just data. And if I feel a certain thing or I feel triggered by something, I'm not going to demonise it, I'm going to look at it, I'm going to deal with it, I'm going to transmute it, and I'm going to let it go. The other side of the coin is there is a big message, and this has been coming out for a lot of people, that, you know, some people just, I'm trying not to swear, but they just F you off, you know, they're just not good. And the more time you spend around them, the worse you become as a person. And it's the facts. Okay, some people just are not good for you. And I do think there's a message with Aries, which is that's what you've got to look at. You know? This can be relationships that are not compatible. This can be people who are constantly, they love all of it, right? They love the stimulant and the drama. And like I said, I think we've all done it, and we all do it, and nobody's perfect. But I'm saying it really is coming from a bored place. Because when you start filling up your life with magic, you just don't do these things. You just don't. So I feel like for some Aries, like the key message, or the message at this time, is maybe you're looking at yourself and the way you're reacting. Maybe you're looking at certain people in your life and how they kind of trigger you, and you're weighing things up. And it could also be a message for the Aries man, which is to deal with your anger. Because these men who are slaves to anger and outbit, they're not funny, they're not gangster, they're not cute, they're insufferable. They're insufferable. If you're younger, that's that's what you do. You're young, right? You're kind of an idiot, right? We've all done it. But if you're older and you're still acting like that, it's not funny. It's not cute, it's gross. So I think there's a message, and I know Aries personally, and Aries men can be awesome. They can be self-destructive and crazy and a problem, but they can also be awesome. And I feel like there's a message for Aries, like, that some of you are kind of looking at yourself and the way you react or the way things you're doing, and you're kind of like, that's gross. Like, this is not funny. And I think that's growth. Growth is when, the world is good at judgment. It's good at everyone at your fingers. But with itself, that's where you really come to growth, when you're looking at yourself and you're like, yeah, okay, I'm not perfect, got me stuff. And you start doing the work. So I think some of you Aries, you're in that place. Okay, so let's see what else. For the Aries woman, I think you've got someone in your life, and I think it's coming from a trauma-based place. So you've connected with someone from a place of trauma. And I feel like with a person like this, you're just constantly butting heads. You're constantly, it's just not compatible. It's not going to bring peace. It's just not. Maybe it reflects from your father. Another person got this message as well. I think it was Virgo. So maybe you're dealing with a Virgo. Okay. For the Aries man, you're coming up reversed as well. So I think the message here is you're full of blocks in your root, in your solar plexus, and in your higher self. So the key message for Aries at this time is the world is infuriating. People are fucking idiots. Let's call a spade a spade. But we are the world, right? When people sit there and go, oh, this world, people, yeah, you're the people that make up the world. No, me too, right? So the point I'm making is so I feel like there's a message where some of you the world is, and I'm not condoning it, like, it's crazy out there, But I'm saying, I feel like for some of you Aries, like, it's a mirror. And when you start doing that self-reflection, and you start, doing the self-work, you start to see, okay, maybe the world is what it is, maybe people are what they are, but I choose how I react, I choose how I respond. There's a strength in that. For the Aries woman, I feel like you're just dealing with a man who, he could have his reasons, most people do have a reason, but he's not willing to do the work. And you can't help him, right? You can lead a horse to water, but you can't make him drink. So this is where basically this person just, no accountability. It's everyone else's fault. And we all go through that stage. I think life is a set of stages. We all go through that stage, right? We all go through the blaming stage. We go projecting stage. The drama stage. But I love this for you Aries who are ready. It's like, no, I'm going to take accountability for me. And that's it. I'm going to do the best for me. And the world can do what it wants. That's growth, right? That's where you're moving into. Because people are in different stages and stuff like that. For the Aries woman, I feel like you've got this masculine in your life, and I think the message here is this person is creating instability. This person is, the Two of Wands person is like a person who wants to grow, they want to change, but this is a person who wants to stay stuck, right? And so it just ain't going to work. So there's something for Aries around, be honest with yourself about what's outdated, what's coming from a traumatic place, a trauma place, an unconscious place. Be honest about what's working, not working. It's not easy. It's not easy. And I think also because, humans are making each other's life hell. This is another problem. People are committed to just acting stupid. So this is creating problems in itself, right? And so I do think a message for Aries at this time, for the Aries man, is to look at yourself. You'll get men out here and they'll say, you're making me angry. It's like, mate, you're responsible for your anger. Like, what am I? Or you're making me moody. It's like, you're responsible for your moods. So I think there is this, with the Aries man, that is kind of a message here, which is take responsibility. Maybe people are triggering you, but you're responsible for your reaction. And that's it. Okay, that's what a grown man's going to do. And some of you are going into basically healing, and you're getting stuff that you used to see as kind of stupid before, you're taking seriously. You're like, actually, this stuff is like works, like, so stuff you kind of dismissed in the past, maybe therapy, maybe help, you're starting to say, no, you know what, I'll try it. Let me see more for the Aries woman. Okay. Okay, so it could be you're finally at the breaking point, because the Tower can be the breaking point, and then you're at the World. So it can also be sometimes it takes a long time before we are willing to walk away. But the woman in the World is finally at that breaking point, and I think that is a key message, that in the particular relationship for you that we're talking about, you've seen all you need to see. You know? And I think, you know, people around us are a clear indication, aren't they, of the Tower person is a person who doesn't feel settled, they don't feel peaceful, which is a clear indication that the person around them or the people around them are not for them. Because when you're around people who make you feel safe and secure and happy, you calm, you chill, right? You know, you're not mad about nothing, you know, you feel good, you be yourself. That's a message here. I also get, just in general, Aries are feeling restless for change. So I feel like you're feeling restless to change your country, or change your city, or change your home. Some of you could be going through divorces. The Tower can be good energy because it kind of shakes us. And it's like, I don't want to stay like this. I don't want to live like this. So again, there's something with Aries right now where the energy is shaky, you're feeling shaky, but it either leads to you changing, or it leads to you feeling a certain kind of way in yourself that leads to change. It also using your enemies, using the world, like, hit me with your best shot, dickheads. Like, seriously, do it. When you're using your enemies correctly, they'll just shape you. You know, and also you have to be with people, you have to go through things to see who works with you, who to reject, if a relationship is compatible. So let's look at where you're sabotaging yourself. Okay, where is Aries sabotaging themselves right now? Temperance reversed. So some of yous, again, I think you keep having the same reactions. You keep having the same reactions. And again, I think for the Aries woman, you might be continuing to meet the same type of men. For the Aries man, maybe you've got addictions, or you've got like things that basically control you. Right? And then the temperance reversed is a person who's not done the work, they've not done the healing. Temperance is also moderation, calm. But I think, you know what they say, he who is at peace, the world can do no harm. But the problem is a lot of people are in confliction in themselves, so the world just adds to it. When you're at peace in yourself, it's like people can do whatever they want. And I think some of you know, it's a journey, right? It's like anything, you've got to learn a different reaction, you've got to start again. Because we are built off our trauma, we do have certain reactions, right? So it is a training, but you can do it, you know? And for the Aries woman, that's what the Temperance card reversed is. I think you keep bringing people into your life, or maybe circumstances into your life that are just not bringing peace. They're just not bringing peace. And that should be an indication that there's a frequency, that there's something in you. Well, the Tower. It's like me, everything keeps breaking. And I'm like, before I dropped my phone and it smashed. And at this point, I'm just like, yeah, you know. But it's environment, it's the energy we're carrying in ourselves, it's all these things, right? So I think I'm going to stick to the message. And like I said, this is a key message. It's not a generic message. It's not a prediction. The key message for you at this time is it's time to get you right. The world's not going to change. It's going to get worse. People are going to get worse, because as the world gets harder to live in, people will unravel further. They'll have emotional reactions. They'll have aggressive reactions. That's how it works. Okay? You know, emotional regulation is a trained behaviour. It's trained. And if, unfortunately, the people around us, like our parents, did not train us, we have to train ourselves. Otherwise, our life is just constant chaos, and then we're bringing in chaos, and then the external world is chaos, and it's just chaos, chaos, chaos. You know? And it could also be what we talked about, which is you're feeding drama, or you're self-destructive, or maybe you're attracting a lot of people with drama, but you will, because you get what you focus on. I think there is some Aries who are listening to this now who are just kind of done. They want to find peace in themselves. They want to be around peaceful people. They want to be in a good environment. They want to learn to regulate themselves, feel good within themselves, be around people who make them feel good. So there's a project that needs to start. For those who've been doing it, this is good. And so the message with the tower is don't fear the tower. The tower is you've got to be a little bit unstable before, you know, it's like starting the gym. That's what deconstructionism is, right? If I start the gym and I'm fat, I'm going to feel a bit triggered. I'm going to feel a bit, right? But over time, the new tower will be built. So, but I think there's a big message, like, and we've also got the solar plexus. I feel like I'm going to end with Aries, which is there's something in your life that must be deconstructed. It must be torn down so that something new can be built. It can be you. Sometimes the way we're working, the way we're responding, the way we're reacting ain't working. And we can get mad, but it's wasted energy. Sometimes it's a career, sometimes it's a relationship. And the fact is until it comes down, nothing else can be built. So I think as an Aries, you need to sit and say, okay, what in my life needs to come down so I can come to, it could just be one area. It might be a whole makeover. It might be every area, you know? And I don't know a lot of people, but this is another thing that a lot of people are doing. They want to run away. They think, oh, if I go to that country, if I date someone else, if I do this, it can, in the short term, help you. But if you've not done the deeper work, it's probably just going to be the same. All that glitters isn't gold, right? When we go somewhere new, it's fresh, it's new. But eventually it reveals itself. So the work really has got to be done in you. And no one's saying don't relocate and go to a new country and meet new people and meet new, you know, yeah. But I think it's you, you know. I think for some of you, you know, and the other side of the coin is, I think some of you have got like deep-seated anger, you know, from what people have done to you, and there's nothing wrong with that. Some people failed you, and they hurt you, and they betrayed you for no fucking reason. And there's nothing wrong with being angry. But if you live in that anger, they win. You know? So I definitely think for the men, and this is also committing to things that make you feel at peace. This is why people do fishing, this is why people do yoga, right? It's committing to things that you just feel at peace when you do them. So it could also be a message for Aries that right now your environment is very triggering. It's a lot of chaos, it's a lot of, you know, go, 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 go. And we have to make a conscious effort to not act autonomically and to choose things that make us feel calm. You know, Aries is a powerhouse, but if its energy is in the wrong direction, it's carnage. And you need to ask yourself right now, where is my energy in the wrong direction? And I don't care if it's a 20-year relationship, I don't care if it's something you've done for the whole of your life, it's got to change. If you want change. You know, most people want to be right over happy. You know? So that's what I got for yous. I think it's starting the healing journey, not thinking it's silly. Sometimes people, like, they've lived in a way for a long time and they kind of feel like that can't happen for me, or if you've had bad relationships, you might feel like you're never going to find, it's not true. But sometimes we are bringing it in, right? Because we're doing the same response and the same behaviour and we're not looking into our unconscious and doing the work, and so we keep bringing it in. If you do that work, things will change. Enjoy your read, and I'll speak to you soon.